We're very happy about that. But yeah, we're gonna see what they're gonna bring.
Yeah, that's right. So it's going to be okay. Here we go. The Cthulhu Druid coming in from Caster this time around. Yep, and Handsomeguy sticking with the Zulok. Now, Cthulhu Druid has really come up recently as an answer to mid-range Hunter, but it honestly does pretty well against a lot of the mid-rangey kind of decks that we see here and there. But you know, like any slower deck, it can suffer if it gets overrun early on.
Yeah, absolutely. But Caster's hand is very strong, going to be able to innervate the Twilight Elder. Handsomeguy right now doesn't have a play until turn 4. He can Soulfire this Twilight Elder, but that is a really poor hand for the Zulok.
That hurts. And loses the Defender of Argus, which is never great either.
But at least he did not toss the Dark Peddler, which is going to be his play on turn 2 most likely.
Yeah.
Caster able to follow up quickly with Living Roots. We see a Nourish and a Fandral Stag Helm in his hand.
I gotta say, too, these guys are playing much faster than I'm used to seeing them play in Korea, too. I mean, this used to be an issue with the Korean players back when Hearthstone was kind of new over there. They'd play really, really quickly. They slowed down to kind of what you would expect from a lot of pro matches, but I think we're seeing a little bit of nerves from both of these guys because, man, they're playing quick.
Handsomeguy chooses to go with the Shifter Xeris over the Possessed Villager. I mean, it could turn into something incredible, or it could be an alarm about 4 turns in a row. I mean, with the curve he's got right now, I suppose you really can't argue with that too much. You have to go for the riskier play if he wants to pull back into this, but he doesn't know that Caster's hand is also pretty heavy right now. Just going to have to hero power this turn, clear up that Dark Peddler.
Yep, looks like Caster's going to keep one of his treants alive.
If Caster can play Fandral on 4 and then Nourish on 5, he is going to be able to draw 3 cards as well as gain full mana crystals so he can hero power afterwards, and that is just going to put him so far ahead. Well, Scarlet Crusader.
I mean, he had a 3-drop. He went with the Imp Gang Boss, which is probably a little bit stronger overall. But now the question is, will that Shifter Xeris turn into anything that's useful?
Yeah, Scarlet Crusader, I mean, it's something playable.
Well,
Black Knight. That would be pretty useful later.
Well, yeah, that card is great to have against Cthulhu Druid. If he could just stop it there, I'm sure that's what he'd want to do. But
if you could choose to freeze on your Shifter Xeris, that would be a great card to have.
No kidding. Well, here's the question. Is there any way for Handsomeguy to kill off this Fandral Stag Helm?
I mean, you can coin Leroy, clear it, and then kill one of the 1/1s, but there's no way for they've seen their list, but there's no way for Handsomeguy to know that Caster has 2 Nourishes in his hand right now. But oh man, to give up the Leroy would be detrimental to your overall plan as a Zulok, but to not kill the Fandral Stag Helm will set him so far behind.
Yeah. I mean, the only other thing he could do is hero power and draw into something like a Power Overwhelming, or even an Abusive Sergeant, maybe, if he paired that with the Knife Juggler coin and the Possessed Villager and the knives went the right direction. But the only easy answer out is to use that Leroy, and that feels so bad. You don't want to do that. Turn. It's deciding. The rope is burning. Caster's actually the one known in Korea for letting the rope burn way down, and he's going for it. That feels terrible.
It's, you know what? Knowing both of the hands, both of the board stage, I think this is the right play.
Poor guy.
It's something he knows just how much a game can spiral if Fandral is left on the board, and I think he made the right play here. Kudos to him, because that is tough to figure out.
That poor Handsomeguy.
Caster gonna go ahead and Nourish anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you just get the mana crystals here.
And then he's gonna follow up with Dark Arakoa next turn. Most likely. Handsomeguy, unfortunately, his Shifter Xeris is going to switch off of the Black Knight, which would be so nice.
The Emperor Cobra, and I mean, he could.
Still not bad.
It's not terrible because it does handle one of those big taunts, and I think it may be wise to just play that right now and hope one of the knives goes to one of the 1/1s, and it does. Okay, so pretty clean for Handsomeguy. And Caster's hand, he could run into some good stuff, but it's not over for Handsomeguy yet.
No, not at all. But Caster now going to have to. Wow, he was going to have to delay the Dark Arakoa, but picking up that Wrath off the top means that he's able to stay on curve and get down that large taunt minion.
Yeah.
Handsomeguy does have Gormok in hand, though.
He does, yeah. I mean, he can handle this. He can play the Possessed Villager and then Gormok for a bit of damage and trade in. So, yeah, luckily for Handsomeguy, he does end up with a way to handle this. And, that last knife not hitting, but he's got the Imp, so it's okay.
Yeah, he got 2 out of the 3. I would say pretty favorable knives there. Handsomeguy can't be too sad about that. Picks up the Azure Drake Swipe. That is really nice for Caster. Wow. He has top decked some really good cards in this game.
I know.
Getting the Wrath for the Cobra. the Azure Drake to clear off the board. And now Handsomeguy is in the position where he's going to be able to draw 2 cards per turn, but his cards are always going to be lower value than Caster's cards.
This isn't bad, though. I mean, he gets a Knife Juggler into the Forbidden Ritual. Depending on how these knives fall, could work out. But if they don't do well, I mean, at least the Voidwalker can get cleared by the hero power. So there's not a lot he can do to protect that Knife Juggler other than kill that Azure Drake this turn. But the scary thing is that if you start to trade at this point, Druid's going to be bringing out those bigger minions every single turn, you would think. So it gets risky if you don't start putting some damage on face.
Exactly. As a Zoolock, in the early game, you're trying to win board, and then eventually you have to make that shift where you decide, okay, I know my draws, I know what's left in my deck, and I'm going to have enough damage to kill you if I switch to an aggressive play style at this moment in time. But Handsomeguy chooses to still go ahead and trade with the Drake. He got a couple of good knives, only had to trade off 2 of his imps, so it wasn't too bad. Caster top decks this second swipe.
Feels good, man.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
Whoa, Dark Peddler is too cool for the game board.
He just wanted us to get a really good close-up.
So what is he going to go with? Feels like Soulfire is probably the only way to go here.
You're going to lose the Joust most of the time, probably.
Yeah, he goes for the minion, though. I mean, he needs something on the board, I suppose.
Let's see what happens.
Joust? Nope.
Yeah.
Big shock there.
Yep. That's unfortunate, but not too surprising. He's just going to be playing a bunch of little minions, and Caster can play Ancient of War, he can play Disciple of Cthulhu, kill off the Dark Peddler, or you can just top deck Twin Emperor Veclor.
Yep, that works too.
Pretty good too.
Yeah.
Instead of 10 health worth of taunt, let's have 12 health worth of taunt.
And every turn that, for the last like 3 turns, Caster's just drawn into exactly what he needed. And I mean, Ancient of War was good, but getting essentially 2 Druids of the Claw is even better.
He went Wrath into Swipe, or no, Wrath into Azure Drake, into Swipe, into Twin Emperor Veclor. I mean, that is
pretty good stuff.
That is some really good luck.
Yeah.
But Handsomeguy gets the Darkshire Councilman, one of the new cards coming out of Old Gods, really giving Zoo that sort of push that it needs on turn 3, other than the Imp King boss, and then has the Sea Giant to follow it up. So he's not giving up just yet.
Yeah, and 2 losses with the Zoolock is pretty annoying, and that kind of looks like the direction we're going for Handsomeguy. But it's a deck, again, that, you know, can get a win pretty much off of any deck. And he's also got some other stuff that might be kind of hard for Caster to deal with, like that Miracle Rogue a little bit later. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll see what he can do. Because this one is looking pretty over at this point.
It's looking bad.
Unless he casts Renounce Darkness and gets a Brawl. I don't think
there you go. Okay.
That's his only answer, really.
Renounce Darkness into Warlock again, and then you just get Twisting Nether.
Yeah. Don't think he techs a Shadow Flame in.
Yeah. Unfortunate, but most Zoolocks don't.
Yeah. Don't tell that to Frodan, though. He got hit by a random Shadow Flame on the ladder this morning.
Yeah, in the shuttle this morning. That was...
he was not happy.
Poor guy. You see some crazy things on ladder, but not really in competitive play, especially since we have some deck lists in front of us.
Well, we're going to see some crazy stuff this weekend. That's
absolutely, absolutely. Just not Shadow Flames in Zoo, unfortunately.
Yeah. And what do you do? I mean, if you're Handsomeguy, there's just so much health to burn through. You've got the Defender of Argus. You can, buff a few things up. But it is looking pretty rough.
You can go ahead and clear off either both Twin Emperors or the Ancient War. Decides to go with that plan. Taunt up the Sea Giant because it has the most attack, most health. Makes the most sense. Caster... Okay, Innervate is not good here. He doesn't have anything to Innervate, so maybe with a dead draw?
Well, he's killing off the Sea Giant, though. So, I mean, at this point, if you're Handsomeguy, how do you deal with this 10 health minion? And then there's another 10 health minion that can trade with you really effectively every turn.
He's pretty much used every large minion in his deck. Okay.
Yeah. All right, well, I mean, is this even enough damage? Yeah, I suppose it would be.
But,
be enough to kill the Ancient of War, but...
Still have a 4/10 Plaxi Ember Weaver to deal with.
Yeah, and Handsomeguy just concedes. So, no big shock there, really. I mean, that's kind of